Welcome back to Ask Allison. Here's today's question. I'm having trouble finding motivation to work on my business on my administrative days at home. What are your tips to motivate me? I need to work on copy, SEO, would like to pre-schedule my social media, blog, etc. I've been trying to schedule things weekly and that's not working. Help! For clarity, I do online admin, online sessions, and doc appointments on Tuesdays and Thursdays. So first, I'd like to thank Therapy Notes for sponsoring Ask Allison. So it sounds like you have a lot piling up on your list. So first, let's talk about why you're doing what. You need to work on copy because you know it helps you get clients, right? But I want you to take a step back from that. I want you to imagine your ideal client sitting at home. Maybe they're crying, maybe they're numb and stoic. They're sitting on their bed with their laptop in their lap, and they're trying to find someone who actually knows what they're doing to help them, someone they feel like they can actually trust. Maybe they've been in therapy before and it didn't really help because their therapist was like a smile nodder. Maybe they've never been in therapy and it sounds incredibly scary to walk in and be more open with a stranger than they are with the people they love. If you write your copy from a space of reaching out to this ideal client, from this heart space of like, hey, you've got this, we can work through this together, I can help you. I can't take away what happened, but I can help it hurt less. Like you can be happy again. If you're coming from that space, it's so much easier to motivate yourself to write than if you're trying to motivate yourself to write right after looking at your bank account or your calendar. So if you're staying really client focused and client centered, it's going to come a lot easier. And before you try to do any of the things on your list, I want you to remember that you're doing this for a human being, someone that you're really going to care about once you start working with them, and you can help them stop suffering. I also like to break things down into smaller chunks. So you talk about wanting to pre-schedule your social, which is awesome. But there is a lot of work and many steps to get to that point. So I'd recommend keeping a document on a cloud, like something on Google Drive, something like that, that you can add content ideas to. So if you hop out of the shower with ideas, you can just pop them in the doc. And then if you're batching your content, which it sounds like you want to do if you're scheduling it out, you can go to your list of things and then create some content around them rather than having to come up with the idea of what you're going to create the content around and having to create it. It's just a lot easier to do it this way in terms of both time and creative process. So you can just choose from the list that you have, whatever sounds interesting or important to your ideal clients in that moment. And I'll link to a blog post I have that's going to help you come up with content ideas. It's particularly for blogs, and you mentioned blogs, but it can also help people come up with social media ideas. And then if you're doing social and you've now written maybe the long caption, there's the prettifying the nice image. Like you want to create an image that is attractive so people will look at it, right? And then there's the scheduling. You may not be pre-scheduling your social right now because there are so many steps to get to that and you aren't breaking them down. And so you're like sitting down with this huge mountain of things to do. And so like that's a lot less fun than hopping on Instagram and texting with a friend, right? So I will say that the majority of people who have social profiles for their business never get clients from it. And that's because they're creating really generic content and or they're not telling people how they can see them for therapy. So make sure that when you're spending all this time to create something, that it's worth the time and effort. Keep it super niched. Don't be vague. Have a strong opinion. Create a call to action that makes it really easy for someone who wants to follow up with you for help to get it. It may also be, if I'm reading this right, that it's unrealistic to do all these things crammed into 2 days a week. And there are different ways I interpreted what you wrote. If by admin time you mean completing your notes, I would say to create a template and do them immediately after the session. Before you pee, before you refill your water, before you charge your client's credit card, before you hop on Facebook to see what's going on, just knock it out. If you're behind on notes right now, still do the notes from today first, and then work on your backlog. And if I'm reading it right, you're wanting to have what I'd consider a full-time marketing strategy on a very part-time schedule. So it might mean paring down your strategies to one at a time until each one is complete, or complete-ish. So do your copy first and then move on to either SEO or social or blogging. But trying to do it all is likely overwhelming, and messing around on Instagram or texting your friend is going to continue to be more appealing. So, or if you're saying the marketing is all supposed to get done in this like nebulous time, Monday, Wednesday, or Friday, I want you to create more structure. Co-work virtually with a friend where you're both on Zoom, just like knocking stuff out. Also, check in to see if you've chosen marketing strategies you actually enjoy. If learning how to SEO your site makes you want to poke your eyes out, don't do it. It is an effective strategy, but there are many other effective strategies that can get you as far in your practice as you want to be that you can actually enjoy. Lastly, what's worked before? You probably have a pattern of not feeling super motivated, because most of us have that pattern at some point in our lives. How did you get back on track then? I know I have a hard line of what needs to be done each week. And if I don't get my Fridays off, which is like my sacred day where I'm not trying to be responsible for anyone or anything in the hours my kids are at school. But if I don't get my Fridays off because I messed around and didn't get things done, it's frustrating. And so I'm more motivated during the week to get these things done so that they don't stress me out, or pile up, or take away my downtime. If that's too tough love for you and that's a structure you're not going to hold on to, it's finding the thing you will. Maybe it's making it as pleasant as possible with like some nice warm cozy tea and fuzzy socks and giving yourself a reward and things like that for getting things done. But there has been a time in your life when you've been unmotivated and got motivated. So do whatever worked then. And also remember that we've all been through a ridiculous amount of hardship and difficulty over the last year. And it is okay if your motivation doesn't come as easily. Mine absolutely has waxed and waned. And notice your patterns of when you're feeling more productive and when you're feeling less productive. And if there is a rhythm to that you can count on. I hope that helps. If y'all need more clients, come on over to our free training, Fill Your Practice. That's over at www.abundanceparty.com/fill. If you have questions for Ask Allison, DM me over on Instagram. I'm abundance_practice_building. I hope you have a great day.